We are back now again here doing some more seminars with Mr. Abbott here, and we are now on Learning Guide 7 in Pre-Calc 12, and we are going to look at in Learning Guide 7 function operations. All right, and then Learning Guide 8 we'll look at some rational functions. First of all, let's look at the notations that we use for our operations here, functions. So with addition, all right, we will see it written like this. So you'll be given something in an F function, something in a G function, and you just add them together. Same thing with subtraction, same thing with multiplication and division. The one thing you have to keep in mind with division, when you got a function on the bottom here, in this case G cannot equal 0. So just keep an eye on that. Okay, the first example here, we are taking the operations and we're adding F plus G. So here's the functions that you're given. All right. So all we're going to do is look down here and write the F function, which is that, write the G function, which is that, and then go ahead and add them. So quite easy. Basically collecting like terms and you have an answer. Now, if we want to find the domain and range, well, the best way I find is if you do a little sketch of what this function looks like here, is we know back from grade 9 and 10 that this guy, y-intercept is 2, so 1, 2, and the slope is up 1 over 1. So we know it's looking like that. So that's how we get the XER and YER. So we would write it, D is XER, which means all real numbers, and the range is YER. Okay, so let's move on. Next page here. Now we are looking at two functions and we are taking the subtraction. We are subtracting here. So again, write the functions out, put them together. Now here you must have brackets. All right, because when you're doing subtraction, you must have that bracket. Very, very, very important. Put a big star there. Because what it does, this negative sign changes those two. So we get the answer like that. Now the domain and range we will not give you because it's easier with the graphing calculator and we're not letting you use calculators, so that type of question you will not see. Now I want you to pause and take a few minutes and have a try at these examples and check the answer. Okay, so here is the answers. For the first one, the H, pretty straightforward, just added the 2. I put the answer in descending order, like x to the power 2, x to the power 1, and the constant. And I did the bracket here, and I got that. All right, now, for the domain and range, this is a little trickier, so hopefully the domain you guys got XER for both of them. because they are parabolas opening up. And then the range, hopefully you got y greater and equal to 1. And the other one, the range is y is greater and equal to -5. And if you didn't get that, you had to remember back to, because it's a parabola, all right, it's a parabola, and I have a vertex, right, with this parabola. You need to find that vertex, that P and that Q, because the Q, this guy right here, will give us that guy. So let's go through it here for you. Remember back, x equals minus b over 2a, that business we did in grade 11. And I know that this is the a, this is the b, and that's the c. So I just plug them in. So I have -4, and -4 becomes +4 over 4. So x is 1. And then I plug the 1 back into the function to get y. And I got an answer of 1. So really this is your vertex. This is your P, this is your Q. All right? All right, the next set we're doing here is we're trying to look at a picture of functions to get an equation. So first thing we have to look at is it linear, is it quadratic, what kind of function is it? So first of all, the blue line, the fx, is a linear line, so we know from previous knowledge that's it there. All right, so let's do the work and get this guy. So first of all, let's find the slope. Well, the slope of the line, if you look at it, it goes up and over 1. And the b, which is the y-intercept, it's at 2. And so we know, excuse me, that the f function is x plus 2. Now when we do the g function, again we look at the slope, and it's there, it sort of drops over 2. So it's -2/3, and the b is -4, so we put that together, and we get that. Now we can combine the two, because right here we're doing f, that guy there, and we are adding it to the g function. All right, and we just combine the like terms and we get an answer, and the answer is going to be h of x equals 1 over 3x, and we combine the other like terms and we get -2. So that's our answer there. Now the next one is actually a little easier, because if you notice on the question, there's no x there, there's numbers. So this, we don't have to write a big equation and work it all out. We can just use this line, x at 2, and draw a nice line up and find the values. So if I draw a nice line up at x is 2, because remember that line right there is x equals 2, so it's touching the function there, the f function, and touching there. So if we come across, we get 5, and we come across here, we get 2. So now we just have to apply the operation. Well, the first one says we're adding 2 plus 5, so we get 7. Now we do the same thing for the next one. So here we have -1, so we draw a line up at -1, and we touch it at 0, and right there at 4, and we take the operation, which is f, minus g. Okay, this is important because there's a minus sign. Which one goes first? Well, f is 0 minus 4, so the answer is negative 4. All right, I want you to pause and then give these guys a go and then check back your answers to see if you have the same. Okay, so there is the first one. And the second one, we're drawing a line at 8. And there is the answer for the second one. Hopefully you did well.